about, let's see, talk about dice. There's a game in Vegas called craps. Street dice? Well, they do a little different there because 7-Eleven, you want 7-Eleven on your come out? 7-Eleven on your come out, that's a good bet. You don't want 7 to come out after that, though. So basically how dice work is if I roll a pair of dice, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as the outcome on one die. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as the outcome on the other die. And if you roll a pair of dice, you add up the top numbers. So you get a 1 and 1 is a 2, or a 3, or a 4, or a 5, or a 6, or a 7. Next row, I got a 3, I got a 4, I got a 5, I got a 6, I got a 7, or an 8. I got a 4, a 5, a 6, a 7, an 8, or a 9. 1, 2, 3. I have a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or a 10 for the outcome. Or I have a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or 11. And then the last one is I get a 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, or a 12. So how you kind of look at this table is these are the outcomes of the green being die 1 or die 2. So the lowest number you can roll with a pair of dice is a 2 because of 1 and a 1. The highest number you can roll is a 12. So up here are 36 outcomes of your dice. Okay, showing up good. There's 36 outcomes. The best outcome is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7s by the combination of dice. So you can have a 1 and a 6, 2 and a 5, 3 and a 4, 4 and a 3, and then you go backwards. So it depends on the dice you have. So you have a 6 out of 36 chance, which reduces to a 1 in 6 chance of rolling a 7 on any particular roll of the dice. Okay? So that's not good if you're betting against it. Now, you have the probability that you roll, say, a 2 is 1 out of 36. The probability you roll 12 is 1 out of 36. Because there's only one way to get a 2 or a 12 out of 36 outcomes. And then the 3, you have a 2 out of 36, which reduces to a 1 out of 18. And you have the same thing with an 11. And then there's 10, there's 3 outcomes. The 4 is 3 outcomes. The 5 is 4 outcomes. The 9 is 4 outcomes. The 8 is 5 outcomes. The 6 is 2, 3, 4, 5 outcomes as well. Okay, so there's different outcomes that can take place on the dice. Now, here's where they kind of get you in the game of craps. The game of craps, the table setup looks something like this. Okay, you have dealers that are here. And this table kind of wraps around. And the craps tables vary in size. And then you have the stick person here. In front of this guy, there's a whole bunch of chips. He's in charge of the money. These guys are the odds. So they pay you out. And this guy is the stick guy. And this guy's the money guy. So you could stand anywhere around this table and you roll the dice. So when you roll the dice, the rule in Vegas, they'll let you get away with it a couple times if you don't do it, but you have to throw the dice far enough that it hits off this wall to bounce off for the die to show up. Okay? So when they come face up, you look at that, and that's what takes place. So the simple way in the game of craps, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to go on there. The simple way in the game of craps is you have to put money down here. This is called the pass line. And the pass line allows you to get in the game. The pass line doesn't pay back good odds. Meaning, if I roll the dice and I get my number, whatever this bet is, I get the bet back plus whatever it is. So you put $5 down. Let's say you're betting a 4 comes up. You'd get $5 back. Great. But then you have the odds behind it. Now, you can bet on these numbers to come up. These are all of our established points. You can actually bet on any number to come up, but this is kind of the main thing they're trying to draw your attention to. So, how the game works is you roll the dice. You roll one time to establish a point. Okay. On the first roll, if you roll a 7 or an 11, your pass line bet wins. Okay? So if you bet $5, you roll a 7 or 11, the dealer puts a $5 chip down, you can pick it up, you leave your other one still on the table so you can continue to roll. If you throw a 2, 3, or 12, you lose your pass line bet. Okay? So if you put your $5 down, you roll the dice, 2, boom. They pick up your bet, you lose. You have to put another $5 down in order to keep playing. Then they say, okay, you can bet on the 4 or the 10. You can bet on any of these. These are numbers. These are all the other numbers that could show up that aren't going to be a 2, 3, 11, or 2, 3, 7, 11, or 12. So let's say you roll the dice and a 4 is the point. Okay? So on your pass line, you can put money behind it for your odds. A 4 or a 10 on the odds pay 2 to 1. Okay, so it means if you put $1 down there, if a 4 or 10 came up, if those were your points, they'd pay you $2 back. The 5 or 9 odds pay I think it's 3 to 2. So you bet $2, put $2 down, you can win 3 if they come up. And a 6 or 8 odds pay you bet 5 to win 4. Okay? Now, how this established? So basically the game, it's a very live game. It's a game that's the most loud game at the casino because typically everyone who's around the table, prior COVID, a typical craps table at a larger casino, you could have close to 30 people all gambling on the same table. Almost everyone is going to be gambling the fact that the shooter is going to roll the dice so you win. So it gets loud and hooray. So once you establish a point, so let's say you establish the 4 coming up. So if you put odds back there, the only thing that's going to hurt you once you've established a point is if a 7 comes up, and a 7 is a 1 in 6 probability. So as long as the 7 doesn't come up, the shooter can keep rolling. Even if the 2, 3, or 12 comes up, the shooter can keep rolling. It's the 7, the only bad thing. So if you establish your first roll as a 4, or a 5, or a 6, or an 8, or a 9, or a 10, that becomes the point you're trying to roll. So you're betting the fact that you will roll that number before you roll a 7 again. So the table gets loud. Now, a fun part of this was there was a night when I was taught in Vegas. It was my first year. A guy I taught with, his name's George. And George comes up and he's like, "Hey, what's up, Stirrup?" I say, "Hey, George." He goes, dude, you got to come out with my brother-in-law's in town. And I'm like, yeah, I don't really have too much money right now. I gambled a little too much. I said, I don't know. I don't have that much to go out. You know, it was between paychecks. He goes, don't worry. The whole night's on my brother-in-law. I'm like, all right, I'm in. So I get over to George's house at about 4 o'clock, and there's his brother-in-law. And his brother-in-law has got a pair of shorts on that no one should ever wear. And he's got this white collared shirt on that's cut down to about here. So it's like, and then he's got, looks like he tripped and fell on a carpet. You know, and he got gold medallion that's trying to survive amongst the chest hair. And I looked down on the floor of the living room at George's, and I said, oh my God, you want a lot of money. Because he has stacks of 20s. He goes, nah, I'm about 17 down right now. 17,000 down. Cool. Okay. So this guy basically takes a huge wad of cash. He goes, yeah, you hold this. So I shove a big old thing of cash in my pocket, like, okay. He loads his pockets, loads George's pockets, grabs a zip bag and loads that. It's all full of money. We're going to the casino. We're going to play the game of craps. Now, I have part of his bankroll in my pocket. I don't know why he trusted me. He'd never met me before. So we get up and we go to Boulder Station Casino, which is an off-strip casino that usually the locals go to. He walks up to the craps table, drops $5,000 down on the craps table, looks at me, and he says to me, he goes, hey, you gonna throw the bones for me? Throw the bones. Throw the bones. I'm trying to decipher, okay, I got some of this guy's money in my pocket, and he's just talking to me in a language I don't understand. And George is like, dude, he wants you to roll the dice. I'm like, oh, throw the bones. Okay. So I'm like, sure. So the guy puts all his money down on the table to bet. He bets on the 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, $5,000 spread out amongst all those numbers. I start rolling the dice. Establishing a point. Good. Rolling the dice. Goes up to about $8,000 or $9,000 he's won. And because he's putting that kind of money down on the table, the pit boss, the guy who stands behind the money guy, notices. And he wants to make sure that this guy, who has way too much money, is going to stay at the casino. So he's over there and he's making sure that the lady comes around to bring us beverages. And we're just going. The guy's winning, losing, winning, losing. Pit boss comes over and says, sir, I've noticed you're doing quite well, blah, blah, blah. So this guy looks at me and says, you got a piece of meat we can eat or something? Says this to the casino guy. The guy is in a suit that costs more than my house. The guy reaches in his pocket, pulls out this little pad, writes down. He goes, see you right over there. You know, talk to the maitre d'. He'll seat you immediately. So there goes me and George and George's brother-in-law to the steakhouse in the casino. There's a line because people want, you know, anything in Nevada, there's a line to. We walk to the front of the line, get seated at the best table, sit down. The guy comes over and takes our orders. What do we get? Steak and lobster. He ordered for us. Hey, we'll have the steak and lobster. That's what we get. It's pretty good. Pretty good dinner. I'm like, dude, this is great. I'm happy. So we go and we leave. And he throws $100 at the waiter, says, thank you. And we walk out. But we didn't have a bill. So this guy's just, you know, throwing money at people. Go back to the craps table. Guy goes up about $25,000 in wins. and then fizzles about 15,000 back to the casino. Pit boss still wants this guy to be happy because this guy obviously has a little bit of money. So the pit boss comes over. Is there anything I could do for you tonight? You're doing great. I hope you had a nice dinner. What else can we do? You got a car? What is this guy? Who is this guy? Pit boss says, yes, sir. Reaches in that pocket, same pad of paper, writes down something. He goes, if you go right out these doors, you go, and then he says, we want a car because the action here is getting a little lame. We'll be back. So we go outside. The guy who is the person who's in charge of the outside activities, I don't know who this person is. We give him the slip, and he goes, oh. Does that? Here comes a Rolls-Royce limousine with a chauffeur. We get in this car, and I'm just like, okay, what's going on here? Sit down in this Rolls-Royce limousine, and I was like, this is kind of cool. And he's like, where should I take you, gents? Well, at the time, at the high school I was teaching at, they had a high school dance that was just about over, and there was like one dude that we knew that was one of our friends who had one of those brick phones, you know, the ones that are like this big. So we call him from the car phone of this Rolls-Royce limousine. Hey, Joe. Hey, what's going on? Hey, you and Ed there? Yeah. You guys want to come out with us? Sure. We'll pick you up. All right, what are you driving? Well, when you walk outside, find the Rolls-Royce limousine. We hung out. Pull up. There's Joe and Ed. You guys weren't kidding. Come on in. What's going on? This is George's brother-in-law. Okay. So we go, and he says, hey, take us to that place, this big tall building. He goes, I don't know what this guy's talking about, but he's telling the chauffeur. The chauffeur takes us to the Stratosphere, which is the tallest building this side of the Mississippi. So we go to the Stratosphere, and he goes to tell my friend Ed, hey, you gonna throw the bones? And he goes, throw the bones? I don't know what you mean. Because Ed's able to mimic people all day long, and he's talking back and forth to this guy, and this guy thought Ed was his new best friend. So, sure enough, Ed goes and throws the bones for this guy. And they're winning a little bit, and of course, the Stratosphere people are like, oh, this guy, he's got lots of money. And so they come over, and they're taking care of us. So this guy looks at the pit boss when he comes over like the 5th time. He goes, hey, can we get some tickets to those rides up top? Because you got all those dorky rides at the top of the Stratosphere. They'll scare the living daylights out of you. You haven't done them before. But we get free tickets to go do that. We're like, woohoo, yay, let's ride the roller coaster that goes round and around the Stratosphere. And I look over the side and going, oh, it's 1,400 feet down. I don't like this. So we did that. It was fun. We ride the Stratosphere elevator back down. We get into the Rolls-Royce limousine that was waiting for us. He tosses him a couple $100 like he's his new best friend. And we go to Caesar's Palace. Now, Caesar's Palace has multiple entrances, but there's only one entrance that they have for Rolls-Royce limousines, and that's the high roller entrance. So I go walking in, we're walking into this casino. We're like, oh man, I've never seen this part of the casino before. There's rich people here. I look over, and Charles Barkley and Dennis Rodman are at the roulette wheel, just woo, they're gambling away. I'm like, dude, that's Charles Barkley, that's Rodman, man, this is cool. I like this place. I didn't know this was here. So we go walking up. Now the guy grabs me by the shoulder and goes, hey, you gonna throw the bones for me now? Okay, I'll do this bone throwing thing he wants me to do, I guess. I walk up to the craps table to about this position right here. This guy drops $20,000 down on the table. Now, at the far end of the table are two people, and the distance of this particular table is about 20 feet. But I could clearly see that these two people, they hold a little bit of celebrity status. The woman who is standing next to the male, I will just say that the largest piece of material on her outfit was the tag to wash her clothing. And she's got really long blonde hair, and I'm just like, ooh, I'm sorry, I'm a pig, but I was like, ooh. And George goes, stop, dude, you know who that is? I'm like, I'm just looking at a lady that's not wearing a lot. And he goes, dude, it's freaking Tommy Lee from Motley Crue. Tommy Lee, the drummer. Well, at the time, back in the 90s, Tommy Lee is married to Pamela Anderson, who's standing right next to him. So I'm like going, oh, that's Pam Anderson. That's kind of cool. So I look at Tommy. I'm like, Tommy, dude, I love Crue. And he goes, shut up, throw the dice. Okay. So I roll the dice. So Tommy and I, we've had a conversation. It was pretty cool. But we won, or this guy won this money because I was throwing dice. And at this time, he's cashing out. And he's like, okay, we got one more casino to go to. It's like 3:30 in the morning. All right, whatever. Get back into this Rolls Royce. We're all like, oh, this is great. There's 4 teachers, 2 science teachers, 2 math teachers, and then this guy that is George's brother-in-law. And we go down to New York, New York. We get down to New York, New York, and I have become this guy's lucky charm. And he says to me, oh, you're going to throw the bones one more time for me, huh? Okay. I've been up since like 5 this morning, and it's now 3:30 in the morning. I could run my own mother over with a car and I'd be happy, but okay. So he walks up to this craps table that's empty. He goes, how much to secure this table? And the pit boss at 3:30 in the morning says, if you drop $30,000 down right now, you can secure this table for half an hour, meaning no one else could come up to the table and gamble. It was our table. Not my money. Boom, money flows down onto the table. So this guy, when he would bet, let's say a 4 comes up and he wins $100. He presses that bet and makes it now $200, so he puts his winnings on top of it. And he presses these bets up considerable amount of money. Okay, now he didn't have just $100 down. This guy had $20,000 spread out amongst these 6 numbers. And he's pressing it anytime the number 6 hits, $5,000, sir, press it. Okay? It's not his winnings. It means he's now betting more money on it. I kid you not. I rolled 31 times in a row, landing a 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, or 10. Okay? Without a 7 coming up. He cashed out that night with this much money. I didn't bet a dime. I was like this guy's lucky charm. Now people say, so did he give you any? No, I didn't get any, but I got a really good meal. I cruised Vegas in a Rolls-Royce limousine all night, had everything comped, Dr. Pepper and Diet Coke. You all figure out the rest. And I gotta gamble with a rock star and a supermodel. And 2 NBA superstars are at the roulette table right next to me. Like, dude, I thought I was a rhinestone cowboy going in. I was beyond that. But basically, this right here, we had a better chance of getting struck by lightning twice that night for that kind of rolling to take place. Okay? In fact, Keith, will you grab one of those calculators out of there, please? And you keep it there? You're okay? Not a 7 coming up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, Keith, ready? Yeah. Can you do that okay? It's a decimal, yes? Yes. How many zeros? To the right. Go 35 divided by 36, enter. Caret 31, enter.
Yes. 0.41757.
Is there an E in there?
No.
Okay, 4171.
757.
See what? Let me just make sure. I'm not doubting you, but I'm doubting you. Sorry. 35 divided by 36. Oops. 30. Come on. Clear. Enter. Raised to the 31st power. Yeah, you're right. Sorry, Keith. Okay. This is the probability that it's not 35 out of 36. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 30 out of 36. I'm sorry. There we go. It is a 0.35% chance. 0.35% chance that I would roll that again. So now you know what I would change in life and how we know how to play dice. No homework. I'll see you guys on Wednesday as our cohort. All right, our online day.
Wednesday or online?
Online Wednesday.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.